Hey man, what are you doing? Hey! Move away from the body now! What the fuck is this? Hey, did you hear me?
This E3 is all about new IP, and there's nothing quite as exciting as Murder's Soul Suspect. We're here with Eric to discuss the project. Eric, thanks very much for joining us here on the show floor.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
Okay, now, let's just start bare basic. What is Murder's Soul Suspect? What's the gameplay? What are we looking at?
So Murder's Soul Suspect is a supernatural detective mystery. It's a kind of a new take on the action-adventure genre. It's very investigation heavy, but there's a lot of exploration, a lot of discovery involved with it. The player plays as a ghost, and he's trying to solve his own murder.
Okay. Now, with that sort of like discovery aspect, is it a case-by-case basis? I mean, like you said, it's a more open world. What's the structure?
So we have a story that we're trying to tell, a very clear story, and we have several investigations that you're going to participate in as you make your way through the game. The investigations all relate to that critical path story. But as you get into Salem, as you discover Salem, you'll have the freedom to explore the city, and there's a bunch of other quests, cases that you can take on that helps you fill in the blanks about what Salem is, who the people who are that live here, who Ronan is as a character.
Okay. Supernatural mystery, murder mystery. How does that investigations, how does that factor into gameplay mechanics?
Well, the interesting thing is that it's a kind of a double-edged sword. Because as a human being, a living human being, he could pick up evidence, he could look at it, he could investigate it from multiple angles. But because he exists in this limbo realm called the Dusk, he can't do that. He has no ability to interact with the physical evidence. And so in that sense, it's sort of limiting. But as a ghost, he's completely free to do things that no other living detective could do. He can possess human beings, see through their eyes, he can hear through their ears, he can influence their thoughts. He can actually restore memories back into the Dusk to get information and psychic imprints that he would never be able to get if he was still alive. So it changes the very nature of how you're going to go about investigating the crime scene, how you're going to find evidence, and it's going to take you in directions you wouldn't expect.
Okay, with sort of possessing people then, is it selecting their memory at that particular scene of what they've seen, their viewpoint of the murder scene?
Yeah, in some instances it'll definitely be like that. In other instances, you're trying to make the connection from like a previous crime scene, and so you bring that forward to unlock information that they wouldn't be able to get access to otherwise.
And what are you guys showing here at the booth today?
Well, we're showing a demo from relatively early in the game. Ronan has made his way back to the crime scene where he was murdered, and now he's trying to reinvestigate and see if he can discover anything that he might have missed in the heat of the moment.
Ronan, what type of guy is he? I mean, he's got a cool hat, he's got a cool waistcoat, he's a snappy dresser, right? What's his attitude, what's his character, what's his personality?
Yeah, Ronan, he grew up on the streets, and he kind of has a pretty shady history. But at some point in his life, he figured he wanted to straighten up. He wanted to change the way his life was going, and that has a lot to do with some of the characters in the game. And so, because he's got this past experiences as a thief, and he brings that with him when he's as a police officer now. And that character, that way he perceives the world, is absolutely relevant to how you're going to play the game and what the storyline, where it takes you.
How are you portraying the character? I mean, like, motion capture is such like a byword these days for these sort of like very gritty games. What are you guys doing for the character?
We're doing full body mocap with facial mocap.
And who's portraying? Is anybody we know?
Jason Brooks is playing the character of Ronan. You might see him around E3, so he is showing up at E3 at some point, but I don't know his exact schedule.
Do we need to spot him with the hat?
I don't know if he wears hats in real life.
All right. What formats is this coming out for?
So it'll be on 360, Xbox 360, PS3, and PC.
Okay, so if I sort of say next gen stuff like that, you're just going to sort of give me that.
Yeah, it's going to be the.
Right. Okay. Well, with that, I mean, with the mechanics and stuff like that, is there any sort of differences between the three versions, or is it pretty much parallel in each one?
We've got such a specific story to tell, and we've got such a rich world. We want to make sure that whoever plays the game gets that experience. So we're going to have the same experience across all three platforms, just to make sure that players don't feel like they're left out of anything.
Now, with that rich story you've got to tell, is it very direct? Have you guys got a core story arc from A to B, or is there an option to sort of branch off with the characters you interact with?
So the actual critical path story is A to B. We have characters that are really important for the character, and we want the players to sort of learn who these characters are and their relevance to the storyline. But as you explore the world, like I said, there are side quests with other sub-stories that you can sort of explore and discover who some of these characters are, what their motivations are, where they're going.
When and where's the game set? I mean, is this like parallel world stuff? Are you evoking a particular era here?
It's modern. It's set in modern-day Salem, Massachusetts. It's not really an alternate dimension. It's just sort of a proposal of what if ghosts were real, you know? And so it's sort of a great ghost story.
With that sort of gritty style, though, are you orientating yourself towards more sort of 15, 18 rated versions? I mean, what's that sort of aspect to it?
The visual aesthetic of it, I think, has come out of a lot of people sort of wanting to create a different look and feel for the game. We wanted something really original, something you don't really see that often. So that's why we chose a small New England town, a very specific color palette, the way Ronan dresses and all of that stuff. It really brings a unique set of visuals to the product in that way. And so all the decisions that we've made around what the game looks like and what the characters look like is very, very intentional in terms of creating sort of a classic, awesome ghost story wrapped around this really compelling murder mystery.
Can you sort of elaborate a little bit on the tech behind the game, the engine? What's this running on?
We're using Unreal 3 for Murdered, and it's we've got obviously custom stuff to make our game work the way we want it to, but basically it's Unreal 3.
Okay, cool. And sort of closing, I mean, where are you guys now? What have you guys got left to do before release?
So right now we're pre-alpha, but we're getting there. It's really getting exciting, actually. And then we're on track for early 2014 for release.
One last thing before I forget. Single player only?
Right now it is single player only, yes.
Right now it's single player only.
It's single player. It's single player only.
I just wanted to confirm that. All right, listen, thanks very much for talking to us.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Get back